Hello and welcome once again to science and technology discussion, and we were in the space technology. A couple of sessions I have taken. Now, we are still in the space program, and we have seen the way we are looking into various satellites, and some of you may have still have some doubt regarding whether these kind of details are required. Definitely it is required, that is why we are covering, and it is very important from exam point of view. Even in preliminary, this information is very useful, otherwise you may not be able to understand things in a right perspective. So, there could be a lot of problems if you are not understanding it properly. That is why I would like to cover it properly. Okay. So, that is the idea, and we are looking into satellites, and in that, one type of satellite very important. India is a pioneer in that field, that is in the remote sensing. Remote sensing satellite. Okay. So, now let us move into communication satellites. So, this is a second type, which is very important again. So, remote sensing, a series of IRS series, then we have seen Cartosat, ResourceSat, SCATSat, OceanSat, then a RESAT. So, we have seen a series of them, all very important, and please make sure that you are remembering those facts very importantly, because preliminary some facts will be asked. So, it will be very easy question, provided you know systematically, it is very easy to answer. Okay. So, that is it. Now, let us move into communication satellites. So, communication satellites are different from remote sensing satellites. We have already seen that, but still I am repeating. Communication satellites are launched normally above equator. Okay. It is launched at an orbit which are above equator, which will revolve around the equator, and normally this will travel from west to east, and these communication satellites are also used for weather forecasting. Okay. So, there are remote sensing satellites which may tell us some cloud cover and all those things, but these communication satellites are also used for weather forecasting, as well as even cyclone detection and things like that. We will be coming to that. Okay. Just wait. So, these communication satellites are launched from west to east. It is above equator, and it is placed at a height of around 35,784 kilometers. Its rotation, its revolution time is equal to 24 hours. It is vertically above equator. So, the angle, the inclination is 0 degrees. Okay. Inclination with respect to equator is equal to 0. There is no inclination. Inclination with respect to equator is equal to 0. Okay. So, that is why it is called communication satellite. The revolution time of a communication satellite is equal to the time. So, it is constantly above, constant communication is possible, constantly above a location, above a point. See, suppose this is our earth in a different way. Let me just show you. Suppose this is equator, 0 degree, and all satellites are vertically above. Suppose this is North Pole, if this is South Pole, and say this is Delhi. So, Delhi is at an angle. So, always the satellites, communication satellites will be placed above equator, but at a particular angle with respect to Delhi. you will have to always look vertically up, because almost vertically up. If you are near the poles, from there again this angle will be something like this, but all satellites will be above equator only. So, we have to place all the satellites above equator, and these satellites will be revolving around the sun or revolving around the earth, such a way that it takes 24 hours to complete one round. So, these communication satellites very important for constant communication. I already said these are also used for weather forecasting. So, when we started launching our satellites, just for your information. So, we started INSAT 1A. So, it is called INSAT satellites, Indian National Satellite. Indian National Satellite, and the first one series was known as INSAT. 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. This is what we launched. The first satellite was launched in 1A was launched in 1982. 1B in 1983, 1C in 1988, and 1D in 1990. So, INSAT series 1A, B, C, D, these satellites were, these are the first level of, see before that, if at all we have, that is Apple. Before INSAT, one prototype which was launched was Apple. These three satellites 1A, B, C, D, these were launched from NASA, by NASA. We were not having the capacity to launch at that time. Delta rockets. But 1C was launched by Ariane, that is by European Space Agency. It started, our TV program started during 1980s because of these INSAT satellites. Our TV programs started because of our INSAT series. So, these INSAT series satellites were designed by ISRO. INSAT 1 series, just for your information, designed by ISRO, but fabricated by Ford Aerospace USA. And launched by predominantly by NASA, one of them by European Space Agency. INSAT 1 series designed by ISRO, fabricated by Ford Aerospace USA, launched by NASA and European Space Agency, one of them by European Space Agency, that is why I am just writing that. And its main functions: one, long distance communication; number 2, TV telecasting; number 3, radio broadcasting; and number 4, weather forecasting. So, 4 functions. 1, long distance communication. In those days, you may not be remembering, you may not be knowing, because you were not born at that time. We started our STD. STD, long distance telecommunication. There is no mobile and all at that time, only landline, and long distance communication was done through our STD connections. Then ISD was there for international connection. Okay. So, the STD, long distance communication, and satellites were used, because cables were not there at that time. Cable laying was not done, optical fiber was not there, only through the through satellite we could communicate. Then TV, telecast, Doordarshan, Doordarshan 1, Doordarshan 2, DD1, DD2, DD national and all came later on. Earlier it was not DD1, DD2, Doordarshan 1, Doordarshan 2. Radio, earlier without satellite we were using only with the help of ionosphere. So, but long distance communication was a problem, but now long distance radio communication is possible through satellite. So, radio broadcasting and also weather forecasting, very important, please note, the initial satellites were specifically sent also for both the payloads were there. The payload for communication and payload for weather forecasting, both were there in this. And the equipments which are used for long distance communication, TV, radio, it is called transponders. Okay, I will write it again. It is known as transponders. So, transponders are equipments used for communication, whether it is TV, radio, long distance telephonic communication, transponders are used. Weather forecasting equipment is known as VHRR, very high resolution radiometer. Very high resolution radiometer. That is called the weather forecasting equipment is known as very high resolution radiometer, and the communication equipments are known as transponders. We were using the first level of communication equipments here. But please remember, these INSAT satellites were for both Indian national satellite, INSAT. So, both for communication as well as for weather forecasting. That is how we launched in 19. So, then came INSAT 2 series, 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, 2E, okay, right from 1992. INSAT 2A in 1992 and finally 2E in 1999. So, in 1990s we launched INSAT 2 series, 2A, B, C, D, E. Out of 2D was a failure. It could not, failed in the orbit in the first few days itself, we lost it, but otherwise all one series also, 1A was not that successful, but all others worked. But 2 series, 2A, B, C, D, E, it has worked something like this, and all the 4 functions were there in an enhanced capacity, the functions of 2 series. Top 4, all 4 were there, plus the 5th function. First 4, long distance communication, TV, radio, weather forecasting, all 4 were there. Then we have added some more, like disaster warning. Disaster warning, especially the prediction and tracking of cyclones. Okay, disaster warning equipments were installed in the INSAT 2 series. 2 series onwards we started predicting cyclones. Okay. So, then search and rescue operation. Search and rescue operations. Okay. So, when this Subranil's question that which satellite is used for cyclone detection, this disaster warning equipment from 2 series onwards, in fact, in weather forecasting this is included, but specifically for disaster warning we started from the INSAT 2 series onwards. Search and rescue operation means any ship, any aircraft, if they met with an accident in the Indian Ocean region or if they are in distress, they can send, suppose a ship, they can send a signal to the satellite. Satellite will send the signal back to our receiving stations. Okay, our ground station, the receiving station may be confusing for you, for ground station. And this, when the signal, the in ground station will receive the, the message that this particular, at a particular latitude, longitude and altitude, somebody is in distress, latitude, longitude and altitude of the distress vehicle, whether it is aircraft, whether it is ship, it will be informed to the ground station. So, from the ground station immediately we can alert to the surrounding ships or to the Coast Guard or to the Navy, so that we can launch the rescue operation. Normally, we are able to launch the or reach the distress location within 1 hour. Within 1 hour, we are able to reach the distress location using this search and rescue operation, component of our INSAT satellite. Or also, high speed, another application of INSAT is high speed data relay. High speed data relay, especially for live communication, live live telecast, okay, live telecast, etc. OB WANs are used over and when what you call OB WAN means outdoor broadcasting WAN. OB WAN, outdoor broadcasting WANs. Okay. So, these have these 3 more additional functions, and these INSAT 2 series 2A, B, C, D, E, we have launched all of them from European Space Agency. I forgot to mention, all of them by European Space Agency. Ariane rockets were used, European Space Agency. See, now after the INSAT 1 series, the rest of any time we need to outsource, we have a very good equation with the European Space Agency. We are outsourcing only through European Space Agency, because the launch vehicle required for INSAT series is a tougher one, difficult one. So, European Space Agency, we could not develop it. See, PSLV we could develop, I will come to that, but we require INSAT series to be launched by GSLV, Geostationary Satellite Launch Vehicle. We require GSLV, we were not in a position, we were not having the capacity at that time. So, we were launching with the help of European Space Agency. Okay. European Space Agency's Ariane rockets were used for launching INSAT 2 series. Ariane rockets were used for the INSAT 2 series. Then came INSAT 3 series. So, these are the functions. Then came INSAT 3 series. We have 3A, 3B, 3C, 3D, 3E. Okay. And the first one to be launched was 3B in 2000, 3A was launched subsequently, 3C was launched in 2002. Anyway, you need not remember those dates. Okay. Then 3A was launched in 2003. 3E was launched in 2003, but 3D we did not launch it at that time. We have launched 1 second. 3E was in 2003. I think that renaming started already. So, 3D I think was only in 2013 or so. You can put a question mark there, I just forgot. Much later, okay, it was launched much later. GSAT 7, GSAT 14, 16, GSAT 6. Communication. Okay, anyway, so this 3D, except 3D, all of them were launched, but again from European Space Agency, Ariane rockets were used, because 3D was not launched in the beginning, because it was supposed to be an exclusive, it is an exclusive weather forecasting satellites, an exclusive okay. It was an exclusive weather forecasting satellite. Okay. So, anyway, so we were launching INSAT 3 series, not much difference in the facilities, the same, the 7 facilities we talked about, some additions were there, I will come to that in general, but mainly no major change. We are either, if you are launching communication, transponders are used. If you want weather forecasting, we want to, we will be setting up VHRR, the very high resolution radiometer. Then came 4 series, 4A, 4B, 4C, 4D, 4E, 4F, 4G. 7 satellites were planned, but after 4C, it is planned officially like this, but after 4C, the INSAT series were discontinued. This was in 2006. INSAT 4C was launched in 2006, were discontinued. Then we started our GSATs. GSAT, geostationary satellites. Okay. So, 4C, till 4C we were continuing with European Space Agency. In fact, 4C we tried to use by our GSLV only, and it failed. 4C, the GSLV failed. After that, we have discontinued INSAT naming, and 2007 onwards we are calling it as GSATs. We are launching all our communication satellite as GSAT, GSAT 1, 2, 3, 4. So, INSATs were there, then we have renamed it as GSAT, and that is how it has continued. And then latest is, we have launched a CMS, communication satellite, CMS 01, that we have launched in December 2020. So, GSATs we were launching, then we have launched one called CMS 1 in December 2020. So, otherwise we were launching INSAT, GSAT, now another name CMS CMS 01, December 2020. That these are the successful launches we have made till now. Okay. Now, coming to this, and I will come to one by one, please wait. Now, let me first talk about the major functions. I have already said 7 other, let me put some more functions, other functions of INSAT 3D 2013 launch, yes, by Ariane 5, yes, but as I told you, 3D is an exclusive weather forecasting satellite. Okay. INSAT, among the INSAT where there is only weather forecasting, exclusive weather forecasting, INSAT 3D among all the INSATs, this is the only exclusive weather forecasting satellite. There are many exclusive communication satellites, but we have not launched anything only for weather forecasting. That only for weather forecasting is INSAT 3D. It was launched in 2013. It is launched by Ariane. I was also mentioning this. So, there is no change in that. Okay. So, that is what. So, all INSATs till INSAT 4C, all of them were launched by from outside. We have never launched from India because we do not have the facility, we did not have the launch vehicle, GSLV was not ready. That is why we did not launch it. Now, let me talk about the other functions of INSAT, and I have already telecommunication and television, radio, weather forecasting, disaster warning, search and rescue operation, everything I said. Okay. Now, some more, an 8th function I would like to add, that is education TV. Okay. Education. We have launched, we have started many satellite, many channels only for education purpose. Then satellite news gathering, real time news coverage on the field. I already meant high speed data relay I said, or satellite news gathering I said. Then even for GramSat. GramSat means satellite technology for gram, village development. How to use communication facilities for village development. So, satellite communication facility for village development, which we call GramSat. So, dedicated transponders only for communication villages with say the district center, okay, for communication between villages with district headquarters, that is the GramSat. Okay. Then we also had telemedicine. Again, transponders dedicated only for two-way communication between a doctor sitting in a in a major hospital, maybe All India Institute of Medical Science, and from a remote village, maybe in Andaman Nicobar, a doctor in a remote village through satellite communicating to a doctor sitting in All India Institute of Medical Science, Delhi. So, two-way communication, it is like a what you call a WhatsApp call. Today it is very easy, but earlier it was very difficult. So, we are having even remote surgery. Remote surgery means an expert sitting in say Delhi or in maybe in New York can participate in the surgery being conducted in Delhi or in Mumbai or any hospital in India. So, telemedicine, the facility is you are dedicated transponders for such two-way communication between a dedicated health center in a remote village to a major hospital in any major city. Okay. So, that is the concept of telemedicine. GramSat I said. Also, this has been also been extensively used for VSAT technology. VSAT means very small aperture terminal. Okay, very small aperture terminal, and this is also similar only. So, the classes, say ALS is using this, the classes from ALS. So, this is through it nowadays what we are exactly doing I am telling you, from ALS through a cable, we are taking it to an uploading center, uplinking, okay, tower uplinking facility, from where this is linked to a satellite, and from satellite it is now, since the satellite has a large coverage, see the INSAT satellites are placed above India or rather above equator, but it is having a full coverage of the whole of India, any center anywhere. So, whether it is in northeast, whether it is in Srinagar, whether it is in Thiruvananthapuram, you are able to downlink the signal by using a larger antenna. We have dish TV, or we have dish antennas being set up for your direct to home DTH facility. So, DTH has a it has a half a meter radius, dish TV may be half meter radius, but a VSAT antenna it has to download much more powerful signal, larger signal is required, or more high frequency signal is to be downloaded, high frequency signal to be downloaded. So, we have a bigger antenna, so that we can download this signal. So, download, and you are able to watch or participate in the class. So, this is real time. So, from the class, when I speak from here through a cable, it is going to an in an uplinking facility. Now, it is the uplinking facility which we have, that uplinking facility is located in Hyderabad. Because these days all these cable connections are there. So, that is why uplinking facility is in Hyderabad. So, till Hyderabad it goes to a cable, through a cable. Cable means an optical fiber cable is there. In that, from there uplinking is done. Then the satellite will receive the signal, and using transponders, transponder is there, and this transponders will downlink it, and any number of stations can receive the signal now. Wherever our encrypted, that code is there, wherever this code is given by ALS to the people, you can download it, which is called downlinking, and you can receive. The advantage of this kind of a class is, since the signals are through a dedicated transponder, and our VSAT classes, we are not relying on internet, no internet involved. These classes can be received if in the downlinking center, if it is in Srinagar, if you have a facility to downlink, a small router is given. So, using that you can decode it, and it can be projected into the screen. So, even if the whole city has no power, if the decoder, which requires a small battery only, if with using a battery also we can run the class, and it is not dependent on internet. It is not internet of signal strength and all, it never goes. That is why our VSAT classes are, and the delay, the time taken from here, from Delhi to your center anywhere in India, it is just 0.12 seconds delay. No, ALS need not put an optical fiber from Delhi to Hyderabad. These metro cities, we already have optical fiber by Tata Tele Services, we have by Jio, we have by Vodafone, so even by Airtel. So, all these companies have their own dedicated, even MTNL for that matter. So, a series of service providers are there between the cities. Optical fiber cable connection is already there. So, had it not been there, we might have been entrusting somebody maybe who is uplinking from Delhi itself. There are facilities for various providers. Okay, our service provider who is having a contract with ISRO, they are uplinking from Hyderabad. That is quite incidental that they are doing from Hyderabad. They could have been doing it from Delhi itself. In Gurgaon also, in Delhi, outskirts of Delhi, there are such companies where they are uplinking from Gurgaon. Only thing is that they need to have that uplinking antenna and all. So, our particular service provider, it so happened that their main facility is in Hyderabad. That is quite coincidental. It can be from anywhere, it can be uplinked. Okay. So, normally all big cities, they have that facility for uplinking to the satellite. So, it can be for example Doordarshan. Doordarshan is uplinking from their Doordarshan center in Delhi itself. Only thing that they require is the equipments for uplinking should be there, that antenna and associated activity, so that it is directly in touch with the satellite. So, for our facility, so and how is it different from YouTube live classes or Google Meet? See, Google, YouTube, all of them are using internet. You are dependent on the internet provided by a local fellow. If the internet strength is not there, if the signal strength is not there, if something goes wrong with the internet, if there is a power cut in that locality, you may not be able to receive it because internet is not there. But here we are not dependent on anything. If you are uploading it from here, automatically it will reach the satellite and satellite will downlink it, and all you require is it is a dish antenna, a bigger dish antenna, and the bigger dish antenna may be of around 1.5 meter radius. So, it is a huge one, it is a big one. So, that big dish will receive the signal. So, we are not dependent on any problem on ground. In VSAT, please note, we are totally proof, meaning no rain, no cloud or snow, these kind of weather incidents cannot stop our relay. It will not disrupt, no disruption because of all these things, no disruption because of any weather issue. So, ALS live right now which you are seeing is through internet, because we are not able to relate to our VSAT centers. See, but all our centers across India, they are receiving signal. Suppose Thiruvananthapuram center or Kochi center or Srinagar center or Itanagar center or Aizawl or any of the centers across India. We have more than 70 centers across India right now. All the centers will be receiving signal through VSAT, whereas you sitting at home, you are receiving signal ALS.live right now, that you are receiving signal through internet. That is why many of you have problems. Suddenly some of you will be writing and saying, sir, there is buffering, we are not able to connect or we are logged out. All these problems are happening because that is coming through internet. What we are talking right now is VSAT. VSAT comes through directly from the satellite. Okay. So, YouTube classes are different. So, Agartala center during net shutdown in the whole of Tripura, yes. See, whether the whole of Tripura has no light, no power, no connectivity, even if suppose the internet is shut down by government because of one or other reason, because of some mob violence or anything. In Srinagar, for example, internet is shut, but our classes will be running through satellite because we are downloading it directly from the Srinagar, ALS Srinagar center. They are receiving the signal directly from the satellite. It is a dedicated one using our password. We have given the password to them. They can decode. We have a router given to them. That router will receive signal from our the transponder which we are what we have leased from ISRO, and that is how it is a costly affair, but it is a sure shot way of reaching. Our classes will never stop. No buffering. In a VSAT center, you will never find any buffering of the class, or rather you will not find that signal nahi aa rahe, slow hai, kuch nahi. That scenario will never be happening. Okay. So, that is how we are able to connect. So, because it is not done through internet. Okay. So, these VSATs are very important. As I told you already, this is for dedicated communication. And so, we are paying a heavy cost also, because since we have a transponder launched in the satellite is dedicated for us, a small bandwidth is dedicated for us to run these classes, and these dedicated communication is very important for say educational institutions like ours, educational institutions, then say for example ONGC to connect to their oil rigs, say there can be dedicated VSAT communication for defense establishments. say Steel Authority of India or Indian Railways, or wherever we require dedicated, and where cable laying is not that easy, connectivity between our remote places, remote facilities. So, all these places VSAT can be, or even VSAT can be used for any communications, and in fact this can receive signal from the satellite directly. Any remote village, islands or hilly terrain, you can directly, you have to have a dish, a larger dish, which can directly communicate with the satellite, and you can get all facilities. So, through VSAT we can use for a telephone, we can use it for TV signals, we can use it for radio, we can use it for internet. Signals can be received, yes. The internet also can be received through that. Okay. So, satellite, through satellite, if the signals are sent through that, we can receive that, and then you can operate the internet or log into any website. So, all these facilities are possible, and most importantly, wherever you require dedicated communication without any interference, hassle free communication, okay, hassle free communication. Online, see my dear, Shillong Center also satellite, if satellite is on, you might have when now this Ben Johnson, this may be because since during the lockdown time our satellite was also not functioning, meaning, and we that dedicated line, we did not have the dedicated line for some months. We might have connected through internet there. If it is connected through internet, buffering will be there, but if it is now, right now we are telecasting this right now. I do not know right now whether you are in the center or not. If you are in the center, you please go and check. It will not be, because now we have once again restarted our VSAT program, or we are relaying through VSAT also these classes to the centers. If you are sitting in the center, you will understand 100% no buffering. Buffering cannot come. In Shillong Center, if you get some buffering, that is the only reason is we might have, you were connected through internet only at that time because of some VSAT problem there. VSAT means we were not relaying from Delhi in VSAT, then it could have happened, otherwise it will never be happening like that. Anyway, so now, right now you go to the center. If you are near Shillong Center, you please walk into the Shillong Center, 100% it will be receiving through VSAT, because we have already restarted the VSAT program. Anyway, so that is the bottom line of this. I hope you understood what is VSAT. So, VSATs are very small aperture terminal. The meaning is we are having a dish antenna, a larger dish, of course, that is not that small, but comparatively it is small. That is why at that time it is known as VSAT. Now we have DTH. DTH is also even smaller than the VSAT dish, direct to home, where your signals are received. You can a small dish, a very, very small dish, but VSAT is much bigger. VSAT may be this big, but this is DTH, DTH, this is VSAT dish. Okay. So, obviously, VSAT dishes are much bigger, DTH dish is much smaller. So, the functions which you can do through DTH is also limited, only the TV signals can be received. So, anyway, so that is how it is being done. So, these are some of the applications I already said. Then coming to transponders and different types of transponders. When Delhi center, Patna center, I have experienced through sound clarity, but some video, see some, if there is some video glitch in clean color or something, it has happened, there could have been some error at that time, maybe from the relay only, we do not know, but normally it will not be happening. If that happened in Patna center according to Anurag, then it might have happened across India. It is not only for Patna center. It cannot be happening only for Patna center, unless otherwise there is some error in the decoding machine. That means the router which is set there, if there is some error or a some sort of virus, then it could be happening, or maybe the dish there got tilted or something, we may have to correct it, otherwise it will not be happening. So, there could be some local error or an all India error might have happened, because after all it is all done through software. So, in the software is there some error, yeah, in the decoding machine in Patna center, if something has gone wrong, it can happen, we can correct it. Normally we correct it by using from Delhi, our troubleshooting team is there, they will be doing that, but otherwise it cannot happen. Okay. When will Delhi center open? See, right now we do not know, let us wait and watch. Okay. Maybe by next week it may open, we do not know, but government has not declared. We are hoping that we can open it, but we do not know right now. So, is there anything that affects VSAT function like eclipse? Yes. Since you asked this question, let me answer this also. I said, our earth, then please listen carefully, equator, and the satellites are placed above equator. So, this is our satellite and it is relaying. Now, when our earth, because the earth is revolving around the sun in an inclined axis, please remember, earth is revolving around the sun in a elliptical orbit and the axis is inclined. And please remember, on March, September 23rd and I think March 22nd or 21st, what is the position of the sun? Sun is vertically above equator. Okay, these are the two. This is June, this is December 22nd, this is June 21st, March 21st. Okay. So, what is happening is on earth, from earth when we look on June 21st, sun is vertically above Tropic of Cancer. On December 22nd, sun is vertically above Tropic of Capricorn. I hope you remember all those basics. When are the sun vertically above equator? Because of our inclined axis, that is why, because of the inclined axis. So, sun is vertically above equator on September 23rd and March 21st. Now, on those 2 days, sun is vertically above equator, our satellite is also vertically above equator. So, what happens is, during that time, please remember, during that time the sun is also vertically behind that, sun is just above that, this is sun. So, because of that, during the month of September and in March for a few days, especially during the mid noon time, around 12 noon, when the satellite, anyway satellite is always above equator, when the sun also comes vertically above the equator, during that time there used to be some interference of, this is after all the signal, the radio signals and the communication, the satellite communication, what we are saying, it is either by radio waves or microwaves, a combination of, it is somewhere between micro and radio wave, microwaves. Sun also releases a lot of microwave and radio waves. So, there could be an interference of sun's rays with our satellite's rays or satellite communication. After all, both of them have electromagnetic radiation. Sun also releases electromagnetic radiation. This electromagnetic radiation includes some radio wave, microwave, etc. Satellites are sending down what? This radio and microwave. So, there is some interference of this, and sun's radio waves are or microwaves are much more powerful than what the satellite is doing. So, during that month, these 2 months, September and as well as in March month, because of the sun's position behind our satellite, for a few minutes, when the sun is exactly above the satellite, for a few minutes there are some disturbance in the signals. So, we may not be able to see during that time. Normally what we used to do, that we used to stop the class for 10-15 minutes. So, there used to be some disturbance for, so it is for 10 to 15 minutes there used to be interference, because sun is positioned just vertically above the satellite, just above the satellite. Satellite is here, sun is vertically behind that. Okay. So, that solar interference. Okay. So, we have solar interference. So, interference और उसको क्या बोलते थे यार पांडे, sun outage, yeah, I was asking my cameraman, sun outage. It was very common during these 2 months, okay, which we call a sun outage, because sun is standing vertically behind, creating disturbance in our communication. Okay. So, sun outage, that is the only time in our VSAT program we have some disturbance. This can happen to even the satellite communication for the TV channels also. During that time there could be some outage, but otherwise no outage whatsoever, no interference, it is not affected by eclipse or anything. So, the only thing can happen is during the time when September and March month, especially very close to September 23rd and March 21st, when the sun is vertically above equator, during the noon time, exactly around 12 o'clock or around that time when the sun is vertically above equator, there could have been some issue. Okay. So, that is the only thing we happen. So, do we have VSAT centers in Hyderabad? Right now in Hyderabad we do not have the centers. We had a center, it is not functional right now, we will be restarting shortly, not immediately, but once the all these problems are over, once the COVID is over, we will be restarting in Hyderabad. Plans are there, okay, right now not there. Now, coming back to what are transponders, I hope you understood what I was saying. So, these are transponders. Yeah, in March and in March as well as in September, if in March month, if the classes are around mid noon time, definitely the sun outage would have been an issue. So, transponders, I already said these are communication. What is a transponder? It is an electronic device which receive the signals which we call it as uplinking, then amplify them, or amplify them a billion times and beam them back which is called downlinking to the ground at a different frequency. So, what a transponder? A transponder is an electronic device which receives the signals by uplinking, amplify them a billion times and then beam them back, which we call downlinking, in different frequencies. In a different frequency, could be in different frequencies. Okay. So, these are the communication instruments in a satellite: transponder, an electronic device which is capable of receiving radio signals or microwave signals, which we call it as uplinking, and these equipments in the satellite, they are capable of amplifying them then beam them back in different. If amplification take place, what will happen? The lower frequency. So, signal amplification, when when it says wave, if a wave is amplified, what will happen? The wave and then, so when the waves amplification take place, the frequency will change. So, in a different frequency it will be downloaded. Let us not get into the details, but basic understanding is sufficient. So, it is amplified, then downloaded in a different frequency, it can be received by the receiving stations across. And in the beginning we used to have a S band. So, depending upon the depending upon the wavelength, okay, and the frequency, wavelength and frequency, we used to have even in our cable TV earlier, very high frequency VHF, the wavelength between 1000 centimeters to 100 centimeters. See, I do not know whether you remember earlier when the cable TV connection was there at your home, you might have, while tuning, see, suppose the cable TV fellow claimed that there are 100 channels, you are asked to tune it. When tuning, we can say VHF, then UHF, ultra high frequency. When frequency is increasing, when the frequency increases, the wavelength decreases. So, the wavelength ultra high frequency between 100 centimeters to 30 centimeters. So, these two we used to get signal from a cable TV wala. Then very close to that is L band, and L band, see, please remember, when the frequency increases, very high frequency, ultra high frequency, frequency will keep increasing and the wavelength will start decreasing. Okay. Always remember, when the frequency increases, wavelength goes down. L band, it is between 30 to 15 centimeters. So, but these were not directly, when satellites, when we are using, the transponders were using even more frequency wala. So, that is S band. S band was regularly used, or even now S band is used. S band is 15 to 7.5 centimeter, 15 centimeters to 7.5 centimeters, and the frequency now onwards, we are definitely S band is used. The frequency is equal to 2 to 4 gigahertz, GHz. Giga means 10 to the power 9. Okay. So, 2 to 4 into 10 to the power 9 vibrations per second. Hertz, HERTZ, HZ means HERTZ. Hertz means vibrations per second. Okay. So, initial satellite in INSAT-1 series and all, we were elaborately using S band transponders, 2 to 4 gigahertz. Then came C band transponders. So, initial Doordarshan programs in 1980s, mainly we can say S. So, C band transponders, it is 7.5 centimeters to 3.8. And frequency between 4 to 8 gigahertz. Then, so this is where our the C band transponders elaborately we can say that we have used it. This is when the the satellite TV or cable TV and all when started, the C band transponders were elaborately used. Then came XC band. This is 3.8 to 2.5, and very important, XC band, extended C band. Frequency is between 8 to 12 gigahertz. This is where XC band is what is used in